Hello world, and welcome back to Zara overview and tutorial series. In the last episode, we took a look at Zara game events. In this episode of Zara tutorial, we will dive deep into the state management mechanism, and we'll learn how to save and load anything with Zara getState and restoreState method calls. To remind you, Zara can save and load its whole state by doing Zara engine, engine state, getState, and restoreState calls. We looked at it more closely in second episode of the series. Every node in Zara, including every inventory item, disease, injury, and treatment, implements I_accept_state change interface. This allows the class to become a part of Zara state management. What this interface is doing? It contains only two methods, getState and restoreState. Those methods are working with so-called snippet classes. State snippet of a class contains all the data that in any way reflects its runtime state. Every meaningful private field value, every property value, all this should be reflected and stored in the snippet. So, snippet class of a particular node contains a number of properties, in which all needed data is stored. You have 10 private fields and 3 properties in your class. Make a snippet class with 13 properties and fill them in your class getState method implemented from the I_accept_state change. And on restoreState, put back values from the given snippet into all the fields and properties of your class. It is basically how state management in Zara works. Now, let's dive a little deeper and talk about the state contracts and how state snippets work. Every state snippet implements iStateSnippet interface. This interface contains two methods and one property, child states. We'll talk about it a bit later here. Every snippet has FromContract and ToContract methods to fill snippet with the data stored in a contract and to create a contract based on the snippet. Why not use snippets only and complicate everything with some contracts? The answer is simple: serialization. Contracts are storing the simplest data fields possible: ints, floats, and strings. No fancy nullables, no dates, no tuples, no other classes except other contracts. Thus, we ensure that Zara state that is being represented only by a set of such contracts can be easily serialized into anything without worrying that, oh, this particular class having troubles with binary serializer or something along those lines. You can take all the contracts used, add to them any attributes you want, and be absolutely sure that you didn't break any state management logic, and every bit of information is correctly preserved, because the actual serialization is totally separated from the state management in Zara. So, let's imagine that you have some class that you want to include in a state management process. What should you do exactly? First, create a contract class where you declare fields using the simplest data types possible. Remember, in contracts, no use of other classes are allowed, except links to other contracts. For common types like datetime and time span, there are ready-to-use contracts already available. Second, create a snippet class. Describe their information that you need to store in more friendly way. There are no restrictions. Use links to any other classes, use nullables, datetimes, time spans if you need to. In ToContract, write all the info stored in the snippet into a new instance of a contract you just created. And in FromContract method, fill your snippet with the data stored in a given contract instance. Third, in your class, implement I_accept_state change interface, and on getState, return an instance of your newly created snippet filled with data from this class. And on restoreState, fill all needed private and public fields and properties of your class from the data from a given snippet. That's basically it. But we need to cover one more scenario. What if we have a class that contains an instance of another class whose state also should be saved? Very simple. Do these 3 steps for that class as well. And in your main contract, make a field that stores a contract of this class. In a main snippet, you don't have to add anything extra. Only on getState, you add snippet of your attached class to the child states collection under some unique name. And on restoreState call, we do the opposite. We restore a snippet that we get from this collection to your attached class by calling its restoreState method. The only thing you need to change in your main snippet is to make sure you read and write to the field where you store a contract of your attached class from the child states collection. Okay, now with that knowledge in our hands, we can take a look at state object itself and its hierarchy. When you call Zara engine state getState method, Zara engine state contract object is created. It contains 4 fields for storing game time contract, health, inventory, and body controllers contract. These fields are being filled by the getState calls of every of these nodes. If you drill into getState calls, you'll find that, for example, health controller calls getState and stores more than 30 snippets of another attached classes and nodes. Some of them in turn call getState of another attached classes, and so on, and so on, and so on. So, the single getState call on a health controller produces a giant tree-like structure of states. Similarly, on Zara engine state, restoreState call, this monstrosity of a contract, Zara engine state instance, is being disassembled, and body, health, inventory parts of it are being passed into the restoreState of the respective Zara nodes, and they call restoreState of their attached classes, and they call restoreState of their, and so on, to the very bottom. So, if you need to add some new runtime-driven field or property into any existing Zara class like inventory item, disease, or treatment, don't forget to update its respective snippet and contract classes that are located in Zara Essentials State Managing folder. And don't forget to implement the state managing mechanism for all new classes that you incorporate into Zara for your game needs. Well, that was the last topic we needed to discuss in this tutorial series. I hope Zara will help you a little in your game development path, and thank you for using it. If you're here just out of curiosity, thank you for watching. I hope some of this information was helpful to you in some way. Remember, Zara is totally free. You can use it in your free or commercial products without any restrictions. Just include somewhere in credits mention of Zara engine. If you have any technical questions regarding Zara, don't hesitate to write me on the email you see now on the screen. Thank you for watching.